Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Dawson. Welcome to Leader Talk. This show is proudly brought to you by Brainiact. Each week we are meeting with incredible leaders from around the world to discuss all things leadership and business insights. Each person coming on this talk show has given up their valuable time for one very clear purpose, and that's to give back to small and medium businesses. When you're a small or medium business, the idea of scaling up can sound costly and actually scary at times. So it is super important to understand and identify when your business is ready to grow and how to do this most effectively. Today, my co-host, CEO of Pierlite, Arianto, and I are fortunate to chat to our guest speaker, Pratik Thakker. Pratik is the founder of Testlify, a popular pre-employment talent assessment tool, and founder and CEO of Webzoly, an outsourcing and offshoring consultancy. Pratik is here today to share his expertise and teach us all how to start and scale up our businesses. Welcome to the show, Pratik.
Thank you so much, Natalie and Gustav. It's really a pleasure to share screen with you guys. You've been doing some incredible work, and I was listening to a few podcasts that you did in the past. Really good job. Really happy to be here.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you for donating your valuable time from Israel morning right now for small and medium business around the world. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Gustav.
We're so excited to learn from you today. And like with all our guests, Pratik, we have your two questions that we've got ready for you, your two fun questions. And our first one for you is, what is the best advice you have ever received?
Be on time. Number one. Why? Because advice usually, I was reading a book, okay, about Japanese, and the time is so important when you do business or anything. So that, like, if you show up on time in meetings, it really means a lot to the person who you're doing meeting with. It helps you build credibility, trust. Somebody can actually count on you. So my father always taught me this is most important thing that you have to do as a businessman, that has helped me, and you should follow. And I've been following this for a while, maybe like 10 years, and it worked like charm. Okay, this is number one piece of advice that I take very seriously, and it came from my father. The second one, what I feel is, sometimes, when you are in business, there are ups and downs, right? Sometimes you have workload and you wanna, tear your hairs out and feel depressed because you're overworked. But you have to keep that positive mindset. So I usually like to take like a break of 1 hour in the evening, which is very important. That's my ritual. Um, because this advice actually came from one of my friend, when I was overworked, stressed, and I was actually taken down to the emergency room because of panic attack. Um, and so this ritual started. So every evening I go for a walk with my wife. So that is the time where we talk, we share our feelings. This is like a self time, which is important for everyone to actually be more productive in their work life. So that has worked really well for me. So these are like two pieces of advice I think everyone also should follow. I think it works best in your personal and professional life as well.
Absolutely. How important is it, like you said, just to take out, and you say 1 hour, when you think about it, it's not a lot out of a day, but that's all you need to come back a better person, right?
Yep.
That's all it is.
It's
That's
important, think about it. We are surrounded by devices, okay? Even though my wife is also working remotely, and she's managing my company Webzoly, and she is the similar work hours as me. We don't get to speak with each other during the day because we are busy with meetings. Now, how do you remove some time from your schedule? If you will be at home, probably you won't be speaking, right? If you have a ritual that you go out every single day, now you get time to speak with each other. You share what happened today, what are the important things that you want to discuss on personal level. Possibly after end of the walk we go for a coffee, like, that is amazing thing we do because it makes us happy. And that is the most I think I wait for that time every day. That's what I would say. Once you try it,
It's brilliant.
you'll know what I mean.
It's such great advice for everyone listening. And your other question we've got for you, well, this might be the answer. Where will we find you when you are not at work?
Wow.
I thought you were going to
uh,
say on your walk.
That's
so
what I
walk
thought
is
as
number
well.
okay. So walk is number one thing. But the second one, I would say, I like to say, I like to do two things, right? If I am not working, so either I sit in my balcony, looking at the sky sometimes, and drinking my tea or coffee. Or second, I like to sit in like a tub, well, for 1 hour, 30 minutes. So that's something that, I'm trying to separate myself from devices whenever I'm like not working. That enables me to think creatively, relax my mind. I think that's what I do.
Yeah, fantastic. And Pratik, before we go on, to have our chat, can you tell all our listeners a little bit about yourself and your businesses? So we've got Testlify and Webzoly as well, if you can, please.
So I'll start with Webzoly. So it started with a digital marketing agency, which was started a few years ago. And before COVID came in, we actually um, became like an outsourcing firm. Now we are helping over 100 companies hire remote talent in digital marketing, sales development, customer support, web development, app development. Any niche you want an employee, we can help you get hired, and it will be at least 5 times cheaper than your local cost. So this is like kind of a big value. If you're from US, you're spending probably $5,000 for a graphic designer, for example. I'll get you something in $1,000. So that's the kind of difference you have when you are outsourcing. And this is what we do in Webzoly. um, if you want to learn more about Webzoly, you can contact me and I'll share more details. Uh, the so second business is Testlify. Testlify is a talent assessment AI platform, which enables HR reduce 75% of their time in screening those candidates. So HR has like pile of resumes, hundreds of resumes they have to go
Okay.
through. So we created an AI tool which enables them to do that automatically and find the best talent for them. So here it's like hire the best. It almost predicts who to hire with data. So there is no guesswork. There is no like something that you do guesswork while hiring. It's completely data driven. This is what we do at Testlify.
Hey, sounds great, doesn't it? I remember when I recruited for a content writer, and the ad was only out there for 2 days, and we had 300 applications. And that is even with trying to switch off some of the mandatory things. But yeah, going through 300 applications was a task in itself. So
I
that
agree.
sounds really
Because
awesome.
I have taken maybe over 5,000 interviews in my lifetime. Or
Wow.
this was the biggest pain point because I'm into outsourcing, right? So my somebody is looking for an XYZ position. I have to find that person, right? And then interview, screen. This was the biggest pain point. Like, again, I was guessworking because I don't know about JavaScript. And how do I interview for JavaScript? So this has really helped us firstly. So that is helping more companies now. So this is what we're trying to do.
Fantastic. And look, we've got so many things we do want to ask you, Pratik, but what we are finding, we have lots of discussions every day with people who have brilliant business ideas, but they don't actually know where to start. So we kind of want to pull this conversation right at the very beginning. For all our listeners out there in this very similar situation, they've got this idea, they don't know where to start. What do they do? Have you got advice for them? So they know what they want, but they don't even know where to begin. You've done it clearly very well twice before. What advice would you have for them?
Or maybe
every
if I
every
could, maybe if I could, Pratik and Natalie, just to put a
Yeah.
bit a more sharp context on that. I'm sure it's not just happened in one day that you wake up and decided to build a product with an AI to be able to screen resumes, data-driven resumes. Maybe the idea can come in a day, but to actually build a product from an idea, uh, what do you do that next morning? Like, who do you contact? How do you start? And then also, how do you remain on the course? Because I'm sure
so
it's a lot of challenges.
this is the most important part of so let me frame it like this, okay? Ideas are cheaper, right? We get so many ideas. Nat, you get ideas, you get ideas, I get ideas. But problem with non-achievers versus achievers, sorry to frame it like this, there's one thing common amongst achievers and who are successful because they're action takers, right? All of the ideas die in your mind. And people who are successful, they execute, okay? Doesn't matter if they will be successful in that idea or not. They have more failures than success, but turns out they will let's say they have 10 ideas, they will implement on it, and 2 ideas will work for them, and this is what will make them millionaire or billionaire, for example. But we self-doubt ourselves and keep our ideas in mind, oh, whether it will work or not. So
Mhm.
mindset, in firstly believing in your idea whether it is something you can do or not. And usually, like, when people have idea, they have two mindset, whether to actually, would that be a profitable business or not, right? Will it work? There are a lot of self doubts, fear of failure, and that's why 99% don't execute. Okay. Now, if you think that this is a good idea and it can actually change the world, there are two questions that I ask myself: whether it is something that I'm passionate about, and whether that can generate revenue. Okay, if these are two things in like it's checkbox for idea, then I will execute. Okay, for my personal opinion. If I'm not passionate about it, I'll probably give up in like few weeks, few months, few years. But any successful business take at least 3 years or 1,000 days formula that I say. You need 1,000 days for being successful at anything you do. Um, so I would say executing is everything. Now moving forward with what you said, Gus, what should they do if there's an idea and if they want to execute? Okay. Uh, today's we are in 2022, right? We are not in 1990. We have so much. Easily buy a domain name, go to godaddy.com or any other site, buy your store. You have an opportunity to create a store or create your own, like, shop, with just merely $20-$30. It's crazy. And you said that I don't know web development or I don't know how to build a website. Google it. There are tons of videos on YouTube. You put your 1 hour, you can build your website yourself. You don't need to hire somebody else, right? Now, not everything will be perfect when you start, right? You will start with something basic. Let's say you want to sell a product that you're making at home, maybe a candles. There are a lot of homemade candle soaps, local businesses do. Maybe you're a teacher teaching online. Uh, I know a lot of e-commerce store. There are a lot of customers who are into e-commerce who hire us for customer support. So what they did was, like, there are they are not they didn't fear for Amazon to be there as a leader. They still have their own shop and they're still making revenue out of it, and they are successful, right? So executing requires you to actually plan what are the things required to start. Okay, so brand name, logo, website, product itself. Once you have that, then comes the marketing. How do you market yourself? Then comes SEO, advertising, social media, reaching out to networks, emailing your friends and network you already have. These are the kind of things that I will focus on. If you're into like consulting or servicing a service business, then I would say, like, start something for free, offer them, like, free service for 1 month and ask for their testimonial video, possibly. It's more powerful. So building that trust initially is important for anything you do in business. For example, if you go to Testlify and you look for Testlify reviews on G2, you will see 4.9 ratings on G2. This is where, like, people build trust, right? We have to date around 34 reviews on G2 alone, and there are other platforms we have reviews on. We have video testimonial. Now, this, how do people know that whether I should Gush or Natalie to trust me, right? You you heard Teslify from me, but there is, like, you need a proof that you can trust me or not. So you go to online and you check for proof. So if you see enough testimonials that can assure you that we can solve your problem, probably you will try. And this is how it works in any business. So these are, like, key things that I will look at to start in a business.
Mhm.
Maybe
And
Gus, you
Pratik,
want to add something?
I wanna ask you as well. At the start, you said if it's if I passionate about it and it have some logic, it will generate revenue. Then I will execute it. Now, the question to you, passion is not stick with one body forever. I, can I say this accurately that to passion about a thing unless you have a higher purpose can easily change throughout your uh, you know process of building things. Now, what do you do to keep the passion alive when you also said not everything will be perfect when you start, and for a lot of people everything is passionate when it look beautiful, but the minute you start to see faults.
Amazing. I have something to say here, and that's like a formula for achieving success in your business. Okay. Firstly, when you have that idea in your mind, you're excited about it. Okay, at that moment you feel that you can do it, uh, because that won't be consistent while you're executing it. You will feel low, you will feel depressed,
Yeah.
you want to give up in few weeks, few days probably, because you have no customers, right? And that is the point, right? Every business closes in like first 3 months. Now, how do you bypass that? Okay, firstly, to keep up that passion and motivation, whenever you start something, take 1000 days challenge. Okay, so when I was starting out LinkedIn, or when I do my business, or when I invest in something, I said I'll invest my 1000 days in this consistently. Okay, now this is then announcement I do to the world, right? When I was posting on LinkedIn, I said I will post regularly for 1000 days. I will show up every single day, no matter what. If I Even if I'm in hospital, I'll still post, or I'll make somebody post on behalf of me, but I'll do it, right? Show up every single day. Similarly, in business, if you are committed for 1000 days, you said, like, after 1000 days, if it doesn't work, I'll give up. Okay, but this 1000 days formula has worked incredibly well, because you commit to yourself and you don't give up before that. You said, one more day. Okay, even though you're depressed, I have 1000 days commitment to give it to my business or my idea or my passion, and you work for it. Now, being committed and consistently showing up is not enough for 1000 days. Commitment is, like, addition to it is optimizing every single day. So let's say you did something today. Imagine you complete one bigger task, or have you read Eat That Frog? So every day I have a task. It's a bigger frog that I have to eat, right? What do I mean by that? For my business Testlify, I have one big task every day. So think about, after 365 days or 1000 days, I have completed 1000 big tasks. Big task, I mean, it takes 3 hours for me to complete. Okay. Now imagine how many hours you've added to your business and how much it is optimized now. So you are actually planting a seed and then putting water every day to make it grow. And eventually, after 3 years or 1000 days, it will be something that will yield fruits. And business is like something similar. And when you said, like, you probably give up in 3 months, when you plant a seed, there's nothing coming out for at least 2 months. So don't give up. And fruits come after like maybe 6 months or maybe 1 year. So this is how exactly business works.
It's a really interesting way of looking at it. Can I just want to ask, because I on your LinkedIn, we're going to go into your LinkedIn a bit later on because you do a phenomenal job on there. But I pulled a quote from there where you were quoted recently in the Global Indian, and you were saying, "I have seen many failures in my life to understand that without failing, you cannot expect success." I
So
think it's a brilliant quote.
failures are my best friends, I say, because when people are like, worried about failing, I'm not. I failed in so many things in my life, and I'm proud of it actually, because I tried. There are a lot of people who didn't try, and maybe that experience has helped me succeed in some of the things that I'm doing now. Because let's say when you fail, there is one thing, you it happens to you. Once you stay grounded, okay. Second, you learn. So either you fail or either you learn. No, sorry, either you succeed or either you learn. That's what I would say. So I think we should take failures as like really part of the journey. If you want to be successful, be used to it.
It is. It's okay to fail, isn't it? It's just pick up and move on. We learn
There's no
from it.
one in there is no one in the world who has not failed in anything. We all do.
Yeah.
People don't accept that. Maybe that is a problem. I publicly accept, like, yeah, because take any entrepreneur who is successful. Uh, they have failed multiple times, and that's fine.
Yeah. I think what the issue is there is a lot of the time we see the success of a person, but we don't necessarily understand the journey they were on to reach that success. So, we see you now, you're running two wonderful businesses, but we don't see all the hard work, that you've put in to actually get to where you are. And I think that's where people then go, I want to be just like Pratik, but there were, like you said, you admitted there were failures along the way. There were challenges, and it's okay.
And the problem many people face, whether it's when they owning a business or when they building a business or when they work for someone, when they say, I want to be like Pratik, most people want to be like Pratik in the side that is glamorous, the
Yeah.
success. No one want to be like Pratik, the 4 o'clock in the morning, waking up, trying to execute the ideas. And no one want to actually, like Pratik, only having a break for 1 hour. Well, Pratik do not say you have 10 hours break in 24 hours. You only say 1 hour. Most people want to have the 6 hours break and not executing the ideas, but want to have two
You,
companies
for
running
example,
simultaneously.
so yesterday night I slept at like 5:30 in the morning, and we had this webinar at 10. So I had to wake up at least at 9 to freshen up and have some coffee. So I just had like 3 hours of sleep, right? Or three and a half. Now I didn't feel like getting up, okay? But there was a commitment that I made to you and to myself that I want to be here. I want to add some value. So this is what it takes. Usually, like 99% of people would either cancel, won't show up, reschedule, if they were something similar situation. But this is what it takes to be successful. You have to show up, you have to meet your commitments beyond time. These are basic things that we all know. The only problem is, are we disciplined enough or committed enough to achieving what we want? And there is only one thing that stops you from being successful. It's yourself. Like, how badly you want it. Like, I I feel that I'm drowning in water. I want to come out. That's how badly I want success, and that's why I'm succeeding.
Yeah. Isn't
Uh,
it interesting, Gus? If Pratik didn't tell us, we would not have known that in our chat yesterday, in preparation for today, that you only had 3 hours sleep, because you did amazing. So
And this is the part that I let's talk, for example, the topic of work-life balance, for example. And I always say no one will be able to understand work-life balance unless they have a balance of purpose and actions. Because if someone want to be, and I remember this clearly, about 15 years ago, I interviewed a young guy that want to enter my business, and he said, I want to be the CEO of the organizations. And I said, when? In 3 years time. And I remember I asked this guy this question. I said, do you have a girlfriend? And he said yes. And I said, how many times you see your girlfriend? Well, I'm 27, so I see her 3 times a week and plus weekends. Okay. Do you read the book? Well, I don't have time because I play cricket. Okay. Do you have any degrees? Yeah, I got 1 degree. Okay. And I said, you have no chance because the CEO that you talk about have not only 2 degrees, 25 years in advanced corporations and the learning. And I'm not talking about anything. Yes, there is a story where people actually open a new business and in the matter of 1 year they elevate successfully. Yes, there is a case like that, but in most cases it's exactly what you just said. To be successful, you need to understand how badly you want it. And if you want it badly, then you don't talk about the 3 hours sleep. If you don't want it badly, then you will come back and say, how can I build this business because I only sleep 3 hours? I mean, someone that just about to open a noodle shop, they need to actually go to the market at 2 o'clock in the morning.
yes, you have
Well,
to
if
do
you put
whatever
if
it takes to be successful. Whatever it
now you
takes.
correct, and you put that into most people that work for someone or most people in corporations, to ask them to do what you do, Pratik, the word work-life balance will not exist.
There's one more thing that I would like to add, and it's funny, right? Everybody is attracted to this glamorized world of entrepreneurship, and they feel that we are making tons of money and we are living in paradise and having amazing holidays with the Instagram like kind of world. But the reality is, we work our
yeah,
so uh, the point is it's not something that it's for everyone. Okay, we probably work more than our normal 9 to 5, uh, maybe sometimes 14 16 hours. Um, so it's very important to understand what's it's gonna take to be into entrepreneurship or business. Is this something that you are ready for? At least 3 years, I say, when I was starting out, for 3 years you have to dedicate a lot of time, lot of hours. You have to compromise on certain elements or certain things that you're doing every day. So yeah, Gustav, you said right. Like, if somebody wants to be a CEO of a company, it takes there's a price for everything, let's say like this.
absolutely.
Pratik,
Sacrifices, all sorts of things.
yeah,
Gus, can I just ask before you go on, out of
yep.
curiosity, is that person a CEO now? Did they ever
I
make
don't
it
know.
to the? Oh, you
We
don't know.
didn't
Okay,
hire the person.
just curious to see
I
after
didn't
15
hire the
years.
person, not because of anything. And this is, mind you, this is 15 years ago. So
That's what I thought. I thought, were they that driven? Because
my
if you're that driven, sometimes, you
yeah,
you can get there. But
and
obviously
I'm not.
not.
I wish him well. He could be a CEO now for a successful company. But the context that I want to say is, you cannot arrive with the word balance if what you want is not accepted with the action you want to do. Like, I mean, you can't do that. So Pratik, just on another angle, Natalie opened up this leader talk by advising our audience that what we will learn from you is about how to scale up our business. Now, scaling up our business come with different areas. You can't just scale up a business. But I want to touch a particular topic about scaling a business that I think you, as a business owner and a founder of a international company, do so well. How do you scale up your brands effectively when you are still small? So
Well,
when we're talking about scaling up, it requires a lot of effort. But you mentioned about LinkedIn, for example, or social media. Like, uh, let's just put an example. I'm a Natalie. This is 6 o'clock, almost 6 o'clock here. So time for dinner. I'm a noodle shop owner in Melbourne, right? No one knows about my, like, what should I do? Where do I start to be able to be like you, where you have thousand and thousand followers in your social media, watching your business, supporting you? How do I get
so
that on
for
my noodles?
example, let's go to noodle shop idea or restaurant that you mentioned. Okay, if I was noodle shop idea, sorry, restaurant in your
Yeah.
neighborhood, I would have done things differently than what the other people are doing because I know marketing, I know branding, right? uh, Maybe that would have given me more success. The reason is, like, firstly, you have to create that noise, right? People like to buy from people who are successful, who are like famous and people know. So it gives them credibility. So branding is equal to credibility. How much they can trust you. The more trust people have, the more brand you have, right? Today we have a possibility of internet. Thanks to social media, we can actually promote our businesses for free. You can reach out to, like, thousands and thousands of people on internet today. In previous, like 2 decades ago, it wasn't possible. You have to do like print ads on like newspapers and stuff, radio, but it's easier than ever before. Now, how do you do this? Okay, so let's say you open a business. You're a restaurant owner, or you have a salon, hair salon. So I see a lot of videos on TikTok or Instagram. So whenever they do a haircut, they record a video, and before after, like, that creates wow, like I also want it. Then once people see this, okay, they want to go and book appointment with that guy because he did an incredible job. So how do you show people what difference you can make in their life? For example, you're making a noodle, right? You're a restaurant owner, and every day, let's say you have a commitment that you'll post one video on your Instagram and TikTok while you're making a noodle and something new dish, right? You make it and you say, like, this is how we do it in 30 seconds, right? And order for, if you want to order, just message us, or here's the link. When people are watching it, it, like, they feel hungry, they feel mouth watering, they feel that they want to satisfy their soul with this bowl of noodle. Now, next, there are a lot of tattoo artists on TikTok, Instagram, right? There are a lot of real estate agents who show amazing properties and say, like, this is what $2 million house can get you. This is what
Okay.
100,000 house can get you, for example. And they give you a tour on like TikTok for 30 seconds. It's very, very powerful. Let's come to B2B side of the things. When you're into consulting or services, firstly, deciding where is your audience. For B2C kind of business, your audience is mostly on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And for B2B, I would say your audience is on LinkedIn. maybe on Twitter, but not 100%. So for me, when I was starting up my business, I said, where is my audience? Where so finding out who's your target persona is important. What they do during the day. So, for example, my target audience go to his job, opens a computer at 10, and then, like, maybe clears out his email, then go to LinkedIn for a few minutes, then again he's reading something on Twitter. So making journey of that prospect, how it looks like, and then actually targeting that prospect digitally through email campaigns. So he's reading emails at 10, send him an email at 10. If he's on Twitter at 12, so show him an ad on Twitter at 12. If he's on LinkedIn, message him on LinkedIn, or like post regularly on LinkedIn so that it shows up. So this is the kind of like map that you have to draw. Where is your audience? What you want to do? How you want to reach out? This is very crucial. And just an important tip: if you do it like once a week, it won't work. Okay, it won't work. Any big influencer or any big business posts at least 2 to 5 times a day. uh, so if you want to be an influencer, if you want to be successful business owner, if you want to create a brand for yourself or your company, you have to show up every day on social media as well, because algorithm also favors you. And also when they see you every single day, automatically you create that brand. Why we know Coca-Cola so well, why we are like, why we choose Coca-Cola over any other soft drinks, why we go to McDonald's and not any other burger place, because they have hammered us so many times, and they have created a bigger brand, right? Apple, you see Apple everywhere. uh, that's the kind of like, hammering that you have to like, in a positive way, of course. People should know you need to show your face every single day. That's important.
Can I be a devil advocate around here,
Yeah.
Pratik? Um, Thank you, Pratik, for that advice. But I'm a noodle shop owner here. I don't have
Oh.
time to learn how to do TikTok or LinkedIn. What's your advice to this common statement from many startup, many people that have a small business, that they already, not only they sleep only 3 hours, to even think that they need to learn new tools, it's
Okay,
painful. What's your
I
advice?
think I would say close your business. If you can do whatever it takes to be number one, close your business. It's not for you, because there are certain things that you have to do no matter what. If you want to be like a popular noodle place in your area, you have to stand out. There is cutthroat competition. People will beat you in no time. If you create a brand, then it's possibly that you will survive your competition. And how do you create brand? This is what it's going to take. If you can do it, hire somebody else for you to do it. There are a lot of social media, there is a lot of social media agency that you can hire, that they will do it for you, maybe a few $100 a month. But what will happen? But this is what's it going to take. Let's say, for example, marketing is something that people feel, they kind of pray for customers to come. They won't come by praying or like, oh God, please help me, give me some customers. No. You have to go to customers. They should see you, they should feel you, what you're doing, they should build awareness. uh, so yeah, it's important. Even though if you don't have time, hire somebody to do it for you.
It's like when you hear someone say, I hope I get that job. The immediate response is you shouldn't be hoping. You need to be out there and making sure you get that job. There's no hope
How do
in
you do it?
business.
There are a lot of things to do it, right? Let's say I applied for a job,
Yeah.
or let's say if I want to be in a seat, like in an interview with a hiring manager, because 250 resumes are like, submitted for each job application. Okay, and only 5 people actually end up in front of hiring manager. Why? They did something different than others did not do, right? Now, let's say if I was in your place, I would have reached out to every single person in that company to recommend me to be in that job, because each and every high tech, they give you a referral bonus if you bring anyone from your network. So they will be happily like passing on your resumes to the hiring manager. This is an extra effort that other people don't do. I say this
Yeah.
all the time, that give an extra effort that what people are not doing, and that will help you stand out. Only thing you should remember when you're building a personal brand or a business, how you can stand out. This is the question that I ask myself. What is one thing extra that I can do that others won't do? And that will separate me from the competition.
Yeah. You know, even when I was hiring, it reminded me, I was sorting through another time when I was hiring, sorting through everything. And you know what stood out? It was this particular applicant's cover letter, personalized, took the extra effort to address the criteria in the cover letter. No one else did that. And for me, that was like, wow, they invested half an hour to an hour of their time. That's the
Yeah.
worker that I need, someone with that commitment. And it's going that extra little bit.
Exactly, exactly. How do
Yeah.
you stand out? How do you do something creative that you will, like, be on the top of the list? This is so like getting hired is like the last thing, right? It's something that hiring manager will decide. First goal is to get a call from an recruiter for 5 minutes interview, and then actually sitting in front of hiring manager should be your goal. And how to do that, there are things that you can do. There are a lot of videos available online to help you get there. So you're right, Natalie, 100%.
Yeah, it's great. And can I just, because I want to go back to the scaling up for people listening, Gus, you know, you brought it onto this, the topic of scaling up a business. For the listeners out there that are in the position where they're not really sure if they're ready or not or what to do, is there a point in your business where you actually know, like there's indicators that tell you that you're ready to scale up? Is there such a thing, or is that just wishful thinking? How do you know when you're ready to actually scale up?
So firstly, there's a simple thing that I did when I was starting out. Firstly, have that first customer. Okay, number one to start. Having that first customer sometimes take a lot of time.
Yeah.
So when I reached number 25 on the customer list, I feel this is time to scale. Now this happens only if you add team members, right? You cannot do it alone. You need amazing people to support you long term. So people is sometimes also business owner make mistakes. They hire cheap talent to support their business. It's not something that any successful company would do. Hire the best. Okay, why hire the best? It's also something that you do for your business, because they are the ones who will take care of your customers. If they are not the best, probably that customer will go away in 1 month, because they're not giving the talent or skills that customers require for them to stay with you. So scale your team after, I would say, 20-25 customers you have. This is where you can decide what extra activities, extra employees that you need to grow. And then you put some budget for marketing, add extra channels in marketing. For example, you were doing social media, start doing like SEO, start doing advertising, invest more time, and maybe hire a marketing agency who can do something for you while you're focused on your business if you don't have time.
It's brilliant advice. And what about then, Pratik? You know, you've obviously taken your business globally. Like, you know, it's not you're not just in Israel. You can name some of the countries in a second, but are there any lessons you've learned? Like, you've scaled up. Are there any lessons you've learned that you can share with actually doing that, going globally, and not just from your location?
So the best part about today is, again, we are into technology world. There are no borders. right? You can work for any company in the world, or you can actually do business with anyone in the world, because we have payment system, we have technology to communicate. If you are into like digital economy, which is more on like tech side of things, where if you can work from computer and provide your product or services through internet, world is your place, right? If you're a software company, you can sell it to anybody from USA to Australia. That's how the world is. So for me, um, because think about it, if you are a business owner in Australia, in Sydney, for example, you have a noodle restaurant or noodle fast food outlet. How do you scale it? How do you take it to like global level? Maybe your franchisee model will do, like how
Mhm.
KFC, McDonald's are
Okay.
doing. So have that vision in your mind while you're starting your first shop. I want to have my shop globally. That's how you are going to make millions, because you cannot make millions with one outlet, right? You need to multiply. So it's numbers game. The more you do, the more you earn. So that mindset would also help. Yeah.
You make it sound easy, but it doesn't, Igas. It kind of sounds
But
easy with
if you
that
don't believe
mindset.
in your mind, if you don't believe in your mind how you're able to achieve it,
It's
you should
true.
at least
Yeah.
vision what you want to do. Even though you don't reach to that level, you'll be close enough.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think I think I agree with what Pratik said. If in anything we do, and in the context of business, if your vision is far, you can create the right foundations.
Yeah.
Because if you want to end up like KFC, then even your menu to start with is not come up with 1,000 different menu on your noodle shop, maybe because you want to make sure that you do 5 menu the best in the world. Because to
Yeah.
franchise it, it's a thing. That's just a. I'm not a
So
restaurant
the
owner by
first,
any
let's say for
means, but I
example,
think
amazing thing what Gush mentioned is, firstly building, like let's say you have one outlet, right? You one shop, build a process, decide, have that end vision in mind that you want to be like fast food chain, okay, globally. Decide on your menu, build processes, build recipes. uh, all of the processes should be that easy that you can replicate. You don't need you to be involved. So if you are able to do that with one shop, you can do it with thousands. So that's the idea behind like scaling a business, I would say.
yeah,
And in any business, let's say you are an agency or you have a product, what first 3 years goes into is building processes. This is the biggest time taker. Once you have that process in place, things run smoothly, right? Really smooth. And then you can replicate what you're doing in marketing, sales, or customer support. If you have that documentation, the process in place, that's something helps you scale.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think when we're talking about scaling up, a lot of our listeners do work, say, in construction, plumbers. They're really heavy on the tools. And we've had these discussions before, and I'm curious to hear your take on it. When you're scaling up, there comes a point where you actually need to take that step back to actually oversee the whole management. If you're constantly working, I mean, there is no work. We'll talk about work-life balance, but there becomes a point where you need to oversee the whole process. Would you
So
agree, Pratik?
let me tell you something. This niche is more of like word of mouth. Okay, they won't trust your website. It's more of like my friend recommend this guy. Okay, plumber or door fixer or whatever things we need for our daily fixing things. Okay, now what recommend people if they are into that specific business is every day 2 hours dedicate for doing work for free, as in free trial. Okay, because let's say it might be $100 of your cost, but think about, if you don't have anything to do, at least invest that time. It's a service that you're doing for someone, right? Think about, next time if I go to Natalie for fixing her shower, okay, I did it for free first time, and I was nice, I was polite, I was humble, and I did an amazing job, and I didn't charge anything, okay, because it was first time. Automatically, whenever there's something to fix next time, Natalie will call me. Okay. Also, on top of it, Natalie will give her friends, oh, this guy is so awesome. He did an amazing job. He didn't even charge me for the first time. Looks like very trustworthy, and you should try it too. So next time your friend has some problem, that guy will be called. So that's how you can scale, right? That's how you can find your first customer. Dedicates, maybe if you don't have 2 hours, one customer a day for free, it will go a long way. So in 30 days you will do 30 customer. In 365 days you do probably over 300 customers. That will, like, multiply, because word of mouth. You don't have to do social media, you don't have to do anything. It will you will make money.
I totally
Yeah.
I totally agree with what Pratik said. I don't know how many people I recommend about when we say give your service for free, give your knowledge for free. It's not actually free, because when you give, you receive.
Yeah.
Whether it's receive in branding, receive in acknowledgement, receive in experience. If you are a young plumber, giving free, then the expectation of someone that actually receiving the service is less, allow you to also fixing complex things. But there's so much thing when you give for
There is
free.
one thing that I want,
uh,
want to add, Gush. It's, I think, very important for the audience. When I moved to Israel, um, I was very because I came from India, I think 9 years ago something, and finding a job was challenging. And only thing I knew that was I was into digital world. I was doing PPC in India, so I knew about like building websites and stuff. So there was a group, Facebook group. I said like I'll build a website for free. So people reached out to me. I built like 6 or 7 websites, and I asked like I'll build a website for free for you. They were local businesses, and I said only one thing that I need in return is your video testimonial for 1 minute. Okay. Now this not just helped me gain more and more businesses afterwards for my freelancing or side hustle. It also got me first job full time in Israel, because Israel is super expensive to survive, right? So this is something that I did myself, and this piece of advice came from my father. So first question you asked me, Natalie, what is the best piece of advice I got for business perspective is give value for free. Uh, they should know what it is, like how the service looks like before they even buy from you, and automatically that helps in building trust. That helps in, like, recurring customer. So yeah, it worked for me many times, and it works for everyone. If you go to any software company online, they give you free trial for 14 days, 7 days, 30 days. Maybe in your local space there was, in maybe when Uber was launched, you have taxi services right now
Hmm.
from your app. So when they were launched, they gave you like a few dollars to try for free
Yeah.
initially. That's how it works. So people don't share this, but I think this is very important to give it a try for your specific business, whichever business you are in.
And I think also for yourself, when you give for free and, and not expecting anything back, it is actually, it builds you as well. It's so lovely to give. And then so it's twofold. You're giving, you're building yourself and making yourself feel really great when you give to others, and at the
Yeah.
same time you are scaling up and getting, no one asked you, those testimonials, whether you got paid for that work or not, but they would have been brilliant testimonials that helped you scale up.
Yep. Yep.
It,
It separates you from the competition. You can go to other customers,
absolutely.
say, I worked for this specific website, and here's the testimonial of the customer. And that testimonial will be more powerful, because the customer who is doing it, he feel that he has to do something in order for them to pay you, right? So they
Yeah,
will put an extra effort to make the testimonial more beautiful, more interesting, so that they can help you grow. And
I
all
love
of the
it.
customers I worked with initially for free, they were actually so happy to give me that testimonial. That are the best testimonials that I had in my life. So these free testimonials are more powerful.
Yeah, there's a strong message there for our listeners, isn't there, Gus? Really strong
Absolutely.
message.
For
I'm
example,
looking.
if you're a noodle shop owner, give at least 10 pieces of 10 bowl of noodles every day for free to local places. Put coupon like one noodle free in, like, in their mailbox, or do an advertising. Let them try your noodles.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Pratik, because there was a local chef during COVID that had started cooking, and we purchased some food from him. And when my husband went to pick it up and he came back, we actually got a container of rice for free, like with it. Now it wasn't much, okay, it wasn't much,
Yeah.
but it was just that little bit. I went, oh wow, how nice, and you
All right. Yeah.
remember this one container that we were given extra. And it's just that, doing that little bit more.
And
So
there's one thing else extra you
powerful.
can do whenever somebody buys from you. Given like a $20 coupon for next purchase. Okay, this is so they will be like, that helps you get recurring customer if you are a B2C or local business owner. If you are like, manicure salon, and if they're paying $100 for first visit, for example, give them like $25 coupon for the next visit, so they get a discount, so they will come back because they have this coupon with them. This is
It's
also
great.
something you can do.
Absolutely. And look, I'm looking at time, but I've got to ask you this one, Pratik, because I think this is a really powerful messages for small and medium businesses, especially when they want to set themselves apart from others. You're quoted, and everyone, we spoke about your LinkedIn. You have over 180,000 followers. So I suggest to the listeners to actually have a look at the wonderful job you're doing on there. But one of the things that I took off there earlier was you wrote, "Dear freshers, work for a small company where we can make a difference, rather than working for a big company where you make no difference."
So
Now,
what
please
I felt,
explain. That's what I
yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to ask.
So whenever I worked in a company, I worked in a bigger organization and smaller. The amount of experience, so when you're building out your career, what number one thing you need is more and more learning from specific things you're doing in your profession, right? Let's say I was into marketing. If I'm working in a big corporate, I will be given one responsibility, okay? Whereas when I'm in a startup or a smaller company, I have multiple things going in marketing. So I have experience in all of these areas that help me become a business owner I am today. So if you want to grow faster, only things separates from corporate. Corporate is not bad, like, bigger companies, but you are like, a small dot in an ocean, whereas you make a difference in a smaller organization by contributing in several different activities, and you get experience from those activities, so you can learn fast. That's the idea behind like working for a startup. So if you are like, hungry for success, you want to grow fast, I think startup is your place.
It's a great message. It really is. I saw that and I said, I'd love to ask you. So really strong message. And I'm looking at the time, Gus, we've actually run out of time, Pratik. So I'm going to hand it over to Gus to wrap up the show for us.
Thank you. Pratik, thank you so much for sharing great ideas to our audience. Very generous of you.
Thank you.
I'm taking a few notes here, so it will take a few minutes to just read the key points that I think will be beneficial for our audience. You started by saying ideas are cheap until you take actions and execute it, because we all come up with ideas. Someone that able to take actions and execute it is the one that make it a difference. When you are passionate about your ideas and have the understanding that it will generate profit or revenue, then execute it, because you probably will be successful. Not everything will be perfect when you start, but stay on course. Build trust not only on your products, but also on your brand. Get as many online testimonials just to start with. Be committed in your idea and actions. And you explain to us about your 1,000 days commitment. I think I like that 1,000 days commitment. Natalie, we start this leader talk 360 days ago, so we still have another 900 days to continue. And it's I agree, because we remember day one when we start our first podcast, we're losing sleep about it. To be successful, we need to show up, be disciplined, and understand how badly you want that success. And I think I like that. Do you really want it badly, or you just want it? I mean, that's the difference. Branding equal to credibility. Your credibility build trust, and trust invite customers. If you're not ready to take your business to be number one, I love this one. If you're not ready to take your business to be number one, then just close your business. And to be number one, you need high actions, sacrifice, and commitment. When you give, you receive. So give your value or service for free often in building your brand, position, and separate yourself from your competitor. Pratik, thank you so much for your insight today.
Thank you, Gus. There's one thing before ending, I will say to everyone. All of these things we discussed, mostly everyone knows these things, okay? When they hear it, they realize that they know this, but only difference from successful to somebody who is not is one thing. They're acting on it. Okay, so all of the things that I shared, they've read in books or they learned from their parents or their mentors, but they're not executing it. So go now and execute it. Ask yourself like how badly you want this thing, and make it happen. And thank you everyone for listening. And if you need something from my end, if you have any questions, feel free to reach me out on LinkedIn, and I respond to each and every messages I get. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Pratik. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. For more information on Leader Talk and for some great resources to help your business grow, check out brainiact.com.au. Bye, everyone.